Okay, so here I'm working on, I think this will be my 5th Winterberry painting. I've been working on this series. Basically how I work, my work is all about color and visual texture, and expressing the connection I feel with certain nature elements and spirit animals. This one in particular, I got the idea in my last painting to put birch trees in with the winterberries, which I just think is so yummy. So so I decided to do it with this one. I wasn't quite sure where it was going, but I'm liking where it's heading. But there are some things that I'm still not thrilled with, so I'm going to fumble my way along. Basically, that's how I work. I just kind of play and experiment until I get it to work out right. Some things I try and they don't work out, and you know, that's okay. It's all part of the process, and as long as I'm painting in a way that feels good to me, then nothing is ever wasted. So I'm just getting my colors ready over here on the right side. What I'm thinking here is, I'll tell you what I like so far. I very much love the contrast of the birch trees. I like how I shaded some of them back, so this really recedes. I like the color that's in the background being reflected on the birch trees, so you can see there's some of that yummy blue and teal in the birch trees here. Over here I reflected the yellows and oranges. Probably need to maybe add that, to make it pop, some of the color a tad stronger, and then also maybe bring in a little white to just really bring that forward. I also like this, you know, the background texture and some of this yummy texture down here. Basically I was just bringing some of the color from up in the top part of the painting into the bottom, sometimes using a palette knife. That's what kind of creates a little physical texture as well. But as I look at this, what I don't like is I tend to notice that I'm always creating these openings in the middle. So in future paintings I'm going to experiment with doing things a little bit differently. But for this one, it's okay, but I almost feel like I want to make this winterberry really big, almost like when you're walking up to a winterberry, like a big bush of winterberries or bushes of winterberries, and they're just like so big and present. So I'm thinking I might actually, you know, have it take up this much space, but now that I say that, I'm not sure. but anyway, I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens, and yeah, I'll keep you posted, or you can watch as I paint and we'll see how it goes. Oh, I need my paper towels here, so we'll just use those. Okay, I think we're ready to roll. So I just need to mix some of this maroony red that I used for the brown, maybe, that I used for this part here. And if I want to carry that forward, I just have to start somewhere. Just make it bigger. I want more of that mix. Yeah, and I'm always kind of aware that, oh, as I'm doing this, I might be totally messing it up. But you know what? It's acrylic paint, and one of the things I love about being an acrylic painter is that if I don't like it, I can always just paint over it. And even the bumps in the winterberries would just add some really cool texture. It's like bumps from using a stylus to make the winterberries. And if I didn't like that, I could just sand them down, or bring out my trusty hand sanitizer, which, you know, has alcohol in it, so it's great for removing acrylic paint off of boards. So right now I'm just bringing the branches down because I want it to, really want to have this come forward. I'm going to make some of those winterberries a lot bigger, I think, too. Anyway, it's just an idea I have, so I'm kind of pursuing it to see where it takes me. And let's go add some depth in here, make some a little darker. Yeah, so what happens when I start painting too is, you know, I have a little idea of what I like, what I don't, you know, and then what I want to try and what I want to do, and sometimes it works and sometimes I'm like, ew, that's yucky. And you know, yeah, there's a little bit of a pitter-patter commentary going on in the back of my head, but it's not, you know, it's not an overly critical commentary, not like some of those commentaries, you know, like, oh, you suck and stop painting altogether. That kind of, why do you even bother? Trust me, that hits me often enough. But what happens is when I really just follow what feels good, or what I just, you know, I get an idea, I want to try it, I just start trying, and everything just sort of quiets down, and I'm enjoying this process of putting the paint down. That's kind of getting a little clumpy in there, but I'll worry about that later. And yeah, it just sort of quiets down. So, you know, I'll hear my thoughts saying, oh, try that, or that doesn't look so great, maybe you want to fix that. It's kind of a quiet thing. It's helpful, but it's not, you know, it's not the negative thing that can stop us from painting, you know. Mostly I just really get into the feel of the paint and how I like putting color down, and really just experiencing being with a painting and the subject matter, you know, especially these winterberries. It's one of my favorite winter elements, you know. I don't love winter as much as I used to when I was a kid, but I still love winterberries. I always have. They're a bright spot on a winter's day. I love that contrast of the color, just like I like the contrast of the birch trees. They're just, to me, so yummy. Beautiful. And so, you know, with that painting, I want to create that feeling. So right now it's kind of looking a little blah, but that's because I'm adding, kind of like these little branches and birch trees, but eventually I'll put some more winterberries on there and see how it goes, see how it looks. Sometimes you just don't know it until you try it. You know, so often I know when I first started painting, I was always wanting to like, get to the good end result. But you know that saying where it's the journey, not the destination? Well, honest to God, when it comes to painting, it really is the process. You know, like as long as I'm enjoying the process, I almost don't care how the painting comes out. But you know, it's kind of wild, but when you're enjoying the process, the painting usually resolves itself and everything works out okay eventually. Yeah, it's like just a lot of just trial and error and experimentation and trying different things, seeing what you like, what you don't like. Yeah, I want to make some of these really big, so I'm not sure how many. Oh yeah, I like that. Probably gonna be too big, maybe? I don't know. What do you think? I want it to be like you're really right there in front of it, which is pretty much the size of a winterberry. So maybe it is too big. I don't know. It's not bothering me too much at the moment, so I'm just gonna go with it. See what happens. You know, I might stop the video because it's not really exciting watching me make a whole bunch of dots here for the winterberries. Now, there's so many different ways I could have done these winterberries. You know, I didn't have to use a stylus, but for whatever reason, this is a stylus. I like it. It's kind of meditative, just doing these dots. You know, and then sometimes I go back over it and I'll put some darker dots and lighter dots just to give it a little variety and interest. You know, and then as I sit here, I try to remember, how is a winterberry branch actually structured? Sometimes the winterberries are in clutches, and sometimes they're, you know, just like this, just like a few cool little ones on a branch, which are just so beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna stop the video, but I just wanted to give you a taste of my process and thinking as I work on a painting, and we'll see how it goes. I'm sure you'll see more later. Hello.